And gentlemen, Season 2 of the North American Challenger League. I, Reed Rapid Melton, joined here by Studio, and we are into our third game of the night. It's Team 8, your team in the red, take on Super Team NA in the blue.
Now, what we're going to see for those level 1 invades, anything aggressive across the map or a normal 5-point spread, we do see a lot more people heading towards that bot side of the map for Team 8. Could be going for a sneaky play through that bottom jungle. However, there's a Lulu in the area. Lulu will be in the tri-bush before anyone else can arrive, so should be able to spot this out and stay relatively safe. Or maybe not if she walks in the enemy team.
Body slams in there, no stun to land, but we're going to have that body slam come right off the cooldown. There's a seismic charge to land as well. There's another body slam. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Executioner Ken gets executed for first blood, going over to Slushy.
Executioner Ken, he made it there in time, but he just kept on walking. It's a safe spot if you can arrive a few seconds earlier, but a little bit late coming out of the base, and, well, he suffers for it. Teammate with that first blood, they do spend a lot of flashes, though, so this is going to be a good time for Seiko Scott to go aggressive on the enemy lanes. We see a flash burned on Leona, a flash burned on a Malphite. So might see a little bit more roaming towards the bot lane, might see a little bit more roaming towards the top.
And only, I guess that's 2 flashes for 1. And while there's 1 guaranteed kill on the board already for Team 8,
Minions have spawned.
There's actually kind of 2 sort of non-guaranteed kills, at least for now, as California Trolls and Dota White both very susceptible to ganks as the game progresses. So seeing Execution Ken Echo coming back into that bottom lane. This time around, they're both alive and both probably going to be a little bit more careful. Slushy didn't get to go back to base, and after taking a couple of spears, Seiko Scott forced away from his red buff. See if Arthalon's enough to deter him. Walks into 2, takes a lot of damage there, and actually is going to get burst out here. Slushy's coming up, flash over the wall. Arthalon's alive, and it's actually Guest that takes a lot of that damage. Seiko and Chuper trying to get in there, but what are you chewing? I don't know. It's Slushy trying to get over the wall. Does so right into those double golems. Seiko Scott's now forced to flash. And Chuper's got some auto attacks, but that's about it. Continuing the chase, California Trolls hasn't even been to lane yet. And finally, both teams decide to stop all that fight. Just stop the fighting. Studio, it's been an intense first 2.5 minutes, but after all of that, no more kills.
No more kills, fortunately, for both sides. Could have really easily turned Elise, even Arthalon, with the great escape at that last moment. And what happened with that fight was the Ignite was used early by Gragas, which is a smart play. It helps increase his damage because of how Ignite works. And it helps apply the pressure, get that Executioner damage from the Masteries. But the problem is, there was no finisher, so when Elise finally felt threatened, he got over the wall, there was no extra dot damage to take him down. At the same time, there's so much mobility on Gragas, there's so much high base move speed on Pantheon, no one can actually lock anybody else down. And the team that was going to die could just kind of walk or body slam away from that fight. In the end, though, no kills. Red buff, who did get secured, I believe, by teammates. A little bit more advantage there, but still very even across the map. Lots of time spent healing, lots of time spent back in the fountain. Slushy takes a lot of damage mid lane. You kind of expect this as Gragas versus in Italy, and he should be able to survive just by his passive and chugging some potions, so he should be okay, but we do see Gragas roaming now just to help out Pantheon at blue.
Might actually just, yeah, I don't think he's going to take that. That would be a very early blue for Gragas, and while it might help him out in lane against an Italy, keep her shoved underneath their turret. We'll just get Kevin over there to the jungler. And the biggest thing I want to focus on is going to be that mid lane matchup. Gragas has some proposed changes on the PvE that really nerf the damage of his body slam, take away that AD ratio altogether. Those body slams we saw just do so much early damage. Might not be doing that much later on.
He's a ridiculously good duelist in melee range. A lot of people always underestimate him, at least when they're starting out the game. But that body slam damage scales very quickly. It's very, very reliable to land once you start getting used to the movement. And if the enemy doesn't have a spell like Leap, which really doesn't have till 6, he should be safe. Execution Ken's going to take a lot of damage to the bot lane.
Yeah, shield on the Echo, and teammate just does exactly the right thing. Doesn't attack Echo. Waits for the shield to expire, and then we'll just back off away. Executioner Ken kind of getting the worst of that trade, but still a good one for Super Team NA.
Damage really even across the board. The issue is going to be that Ignite is back up on Leona, so if Lulu is a little bit too low, can very easily be bursted down before being able to respond. However, they have healed up a little bit. Echo going to keep applying a lot of auto attack pressure, keep going for the offense. You see Pantheon up in the top lane looking for that gank. Looking for that chance to dive on in.
Bottom lane, though, there's the Zenith Blade. Gonna go in, and as soon as Executioner Ken goes in, he's gonna go down. Dodo with a nice initiation, taking him out there. And with that no flash burned early on, gave him his first death, gives him his second, and it's gonna be up to Echo to 2v1 for the time being.
And of course, Dodo does know the timing of Lulu's flash because he burnt his at the same time, and also had it synced up with the Ignite, so unfortunate for him, but 2-kill lead. Caitlyn, how's she doing in the CS? Is at 33 CS, which is decent. Unfortunately, she's going to be a little bit behind Lucian because he does have that assist gold, but overall, at least Echo is maintaining his gold, is doing well. Maple Street, though, he's going to have a very bursty, very tanky Leona very early on in the game, which just makes his early burst harass that much more threatening.
See Slushie actually body slamming into Chupa right now, completely safe and sound, doesn't have much to worry about. With Vi going down bottom, I'd almost like to see that aggression go mid lane instead. Slushie almost about to have his flash up, so you really want to capitalize while that's down. It looks like he's going to get that back up before he's made to pay for having blown that earlier on.
And you can see just the auto attack pressure from Echo. It does not matter if Leona got a kill on Lulu. Just constant harass, constant pressure. They want to move forward. They want to have Maple Street get CS, but he's staying far in the back line. Has to just not take any auto attack harass. Vi is in the bot lane as well. Hasn't been spotted out by a ward. The ping does come out though. Do they know? Don't think anything revealed her, but will be safety. Yeah, walked right into a ward unfortunately, but it will be safety for Maple Street and Dodo in the bot lane.
The top lane is actually California Trolls going that AP Malphite versus the Arthalon, and does have that Chalice of Harmony, which is a really good early item. Gives Malphite all the early mana that he needs to be able to spam out those seismic shards and actually re-engage there from Dodo onto Echo this time. Chunks him down, and with that Eclipse, doesn't really take all that much damage in return.
That is a great build coming out from Dodo. The early Doran Shield means when he does go in, most Leonas have to go in, take some damage. Can he get the stun on Ken? Not quite.
Ooh, close.
But Leona will go in, take some damage for her harass, but kind of equal out the HP. With that Doran Shield, he's surviving so well, and he had enough gold to buy some wards because of the earlier First Blood. He's surviving well enough that he's actually winning out on trades, despite the fact that he has to walk out, and when he does so, he takes a lot of auto attack damage.
What's impressive to me is to see Executioner Ken died for First Blood, died again in lane, and his AD carry is almost 10 CS up in that lane. So that's actually pretty impressive. Not easy to do.
Oh, stun onto Caitlyn.
And now he's going to try for the net out, gets the slow, and immediately the poly board. Lulu just like, all right, I'm on the case. Hunts down Lucian, forces out the barrier with an Ignite. Executioner Ken was looking to live up to his name.
He almost got, and of course that Lulu pressure is still going to be solid despite the deaths. Caitlyn barely surviving as well. Dodo still has his Ignite available, did not have it available for the fight, unfortunately. Would have been barely enough to maybe secure high on Echo, but it's okay. They keep their bot lane alive and actually keep barrier up on Echo, which is going to be useful once Leona hits level 6 and gets that full burst combo. But that is Caitlyn lane in a nutshell. It does not matter if you're doing well versus the lane. If you ever give up too much auto attack harass, if you ever let them play that zone poke game, you can very easily lose your lead, especially if you don't have any sustain from items quite yet. Maple Street does go back and buy a BF sword, so it's going to be very even lanes despite the fact that Leona has that kill.
Guess is level 6. He's looking for the jump, heading on up towards mid. The top lane. There it goes. Arthalon a little bit too far forward. Comboed perfectly with the Malphite. The Wombo combo from Guess 8. Holy cow. That's the Rockat strat that we saw earlier on in LCS. There you go. Malphite into Pantheon. You set him up. You take him down. Perfect alley-oop giving Guess 8 the kill.
Deleted, and of course not enough time for Arthalon to respawn and actually go into spider form for the repel. And that is just the element of surprise. You have about a second or so to respond. California Trolls helped his team out by making sure during that second there was a knock-up onto Elise. Ultimate onto Chuper. Gonna have a lot of trouble escaping this.
Oh, and the Zenith Blade is flashed away from, but Slushie just goes for the flash in there. Toto snipes it out from on high, throws down the high orbit laser, and takes him out with that solar flare.
I love that steal, giving that extra gold towards Leona. You know, hey, now she can spam Zenith Blade even more if she does get into a fight. That's a lot of extra tankiness. But we can actually see Gragas and Leona taking down that dragon with the help of Mr. Pantheon. Going to go ahead and be a very secure dragon. They do not have Vi in the area. Vi is level 6, looking top towards Malphite. But Malphite a bit too tanky and Dragon a bit too easy.
Yeah, Dragon just going the way of teammate there. After that Wombo combo top lane, like you said, the repel is the big counter there. If you can repel, then you just make teammate look really, really silly all of a sudden. Where they use all of their big Wombo combo ultimates, it doesn't actually hit anything. But that time around, it did hit. It looked super cool, and it worked out very well. 4 kills already on the board for teammate.
Yeah, that's actually just a really cool way to play the game to try and minimize reaction times. For example, like Malphite is really bad versus Ezreal because you can respond. Executioner Ken takes a lot of damage, not going to be able to finish him off, but will apply a decent amount of harass.
Yeah, he's going to turn that right back around. Actually dodges away from the piercing light as it is targeted onto the minion instead. A little bit of damage to be traded out there by Echo. Both 80 carries around the same place. Like I said, about a 10 CS advantage, all that separates them. Both of the kills in that bottom lane going to Dodo instead of Maple Street, but that's just because Maple Street stayed in lane, whereas Dodo's been roaming around for his kills.
You know what? Leona's got to get the kills they can.
Cow, Arthalon.
That is Elise damage right there, Elise in a nutshell. You can kill her, you can be ahead in CS, but she still has high damage. And actually looking at his items, he has the build for a Void Staff. So his early counter, and this is not a common build, is just going straight for the magic penetration of Void Staff. And Elise does do percentage damage with both her nukes in Spider and Human form. So just trying to minimize that. Actually, ultimate comes out from California.
Goes for the wombo combo, turns it right back around, and it's exactly what you said. It's all about that repel timing. If you hit it versus Malphite, you just win the trade. It's actually a trade going down to the bottom lane. Guess 8 going in. A huge man drop right on top of Echo. He's not going to live. Goes down. The teleport as well. California Troll is actually pretty low. Does have to watch out for the kill. Trade gets ignited but doesn't go down. The teleports, the wombo combos. I was like, well, last time they ganked together. This time around they're on opposite sides of the map. California Trolls is like, but if I had teleport, I'd be there too. Does so, teleports down there. That's the 7th kill coming the way of Team 8.
I mean, Team 8, they are in such a dominant performance. Right now, Executioner Ken can clearly just keep 1v1ing. Chuper's going to be the saving grace for Super Team NA because he's the only person who's actually doing well in his lane. There is an advantage for Echo in terms of CS, but that's still a Lucian with 4 assists. And Leona, if she does get ahead, well, she's going to be a tanky monster that's just spitting wards out across the map. And she can just team fight as well as a lot of other top laners if she does get that massive infusion of gold. So with that 3k gold lead, a 12-minute lead, that is amazing. And it's going to be very difficult for really any sort of counterplay from Super Team until Chuper starts making plays across the map. The Spears are doing some stuff, made a little bit of damage, but they need those Spears across the map.
I had to check and make sure Dodo 8 wasn't running like a ton of AP or something because he's pretty good at sniping out these kills. 3 already in his inventory. So while there are 7 kills out on the map, almost half of them are on the support, so it's not making that as big a difference as you'd expect to see. Maple Street still killless. He's going to have to make sure he doesn't kill Lulu because then his big first kill of the game is going to be worth like 100 gold.
That or just wait for Lulu to get enough gold to equalize that difference. Vi did show herself top lane, but there was a Pantheon in the area, and they could not find that dive into California Lulz. California Lulz going for a more AP build. It looks like he's building that first Athenes just to survive versus Elise.
Wow, Chuper doesn't even have all that much ability power and still takes half of Slushy's health.
And that is the wonder of Nidalee. But if they can possibly get a good siege going, it's going to be difficult with Pantheon, but if they catch Pantheon, if they find Pantheon in lane, that's their big moment to really make a play happen because there's not enough surprising initiation at that point. If they have their flash available, you can dodge a Malphite ult. If you have your flash available or just an escape skill, you can try and back off from Gragas. But a Pantheon ultimate coming in from the back, that's just going to screw up all your plans, takes out any decent escape route, and they really need to play a game where they're forcing Pantheon to be in lane, either by catching him off guard or just by ganking him in the jungle.
Look at this build from Sicko Scott. He skips the jungle item, stays on the Spirit Stone, and just buys that Brutalizer instead of going for the Spirit of the Elder Lizard like you can see on Guess 8. Now granted, that's because Guess 8 is much farther ahead than he is, but he's down about 20 CS, and that's going to make up a little bit of that difference. And like you said earlier, the Void Staff rush from Arthalon, let's see how effective that is, because I guess aside from those Chalice items, you don't really see all that much magic resistance this early in the game.
And the thing is, Malphite, he's still going to trade really efficiently because he has a lot of damage. Sicko Scott in the top lane, though. They might have enough burst. Just might. The flash doesn't land.
Oh, but he's going to go for that double body slam right into that unstoppable forest. California Lulz looking for the kill onto Arthalon. Tries for it, gets the repel, comes down onto a minion, just kiting California Lulz away. He can't get in range, turns around. There's a man drop coming in as well, right onto Arthalon, who suicides for the kill. That means the Pantheon's going to have to try for the kill onto Sicko Scott. Does have the damage, gets the auto crit, and it's Chuper. Walks by, just waves, says, hey, what's up? I'm not looking to make a scene. Walks back to the turret, and a solid wombo combo. Once again, this Guess 8 California Lulz combo really working out big for Team 8. Aggression in the bottom lane as Dodo 8's going to go in. Executioner Ken, the recipient of all of that damage, throws down that little picks back. But back onto Maple Street, he's not too afraid. The culling coming down, and there's the damage to be traded back around. Way too many bullets coming out of the double guns from Maple Street, but it's the Piltover Pacemaker stopping his heart, and Echo will trade that kill back away, but nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Does flash that explosive cast, damages Dodo 8, who he knows is going to try to tank that turret, but wisely enough, it's Slushy that draws the aggro, gets the kill, and body slams back out alive.
A very, very good flash coming out from Echo. Unfortunately, does not accomplish a whole lot of good. No summoners burned either by either Gragas or Leon at the very end of that. And just the fights all across the map. You can see that Lulu, even though she does have wild growth because of just the innate levels and burst that Leona provides, guess what, with that Lucian combo as well, they can tear through a wild growth. And the culling was underestimated, and you never underestimate the culling. Top lane, you can see California Trolls.
Where's that repel? You've got to repel one of these unstoppable forces, but this time you know the timing. It's not up just yet. Health potion running on California Trolls is not going to be enough to take him down. Oh my goodness, the ignite wasn't enough. A flash over the wall there onto Chuper. Where's the body slam? Barriers out there. Might have gotten enough range. The barrel to come out, heal just in time. That primal surge, enough to keep Chuper alive.
Barely enough, keeps him relevant. Sicko Scott is in the area, could go for an ultimate, has it available, but Pantheon has already left the fight. You can see that at this point, Arthlon is trading very efficiently, but it's equal in 1-to-1 for HP. Dodo 8 is caught up for a second. There are 3 members coming. Leona survived a lot. Will this be the first death? No, as they're not going to chase aggressively into that scary, scary Gragas and scary Lucian.
Gragas does have that explosive cask up, and with Dodo having 3 kills there is very, very far ahead. Doesn't quite show there in the items, but teleport coming in onto that ward. Malphite's coming in there right on top of Arthalon. He's got the combo, but where's he going to go? California Trolls turns it right back around, but goes right into a cocoon. Does not matter. It's the magic damage from Malphite to pick up that kill. California Lulz just has Arthalon's number this game. That AP Elise not working out.
It does a lot of damage, but it doesn't matter if you can't do that damage because you're getting bursted down before that sustained DPS really matters. Spear does land on the Malphite, doesn't do a whole lot of good as a dragon goes towards Team 8, giving them that 5.7k gold lead. A very dominant lead at this point. We might see a mid tower taken actually by Super Team NA as it is available. Gragas is not quite in lane yet. They have a few seconds of push, but will not be pressuring hard. The issues they're running into now is their top laner cannot survive against a Malphite. Their mid laner is doing okay, but bot lane's just being dominated by the Leona-Lucian combo. More importantly, the Leona. Dodo 8 is just doing work down here.
Dodo 8's a god. Finally finding some kills to give over to Maple Street, who does grab his first one of the game there in that last altercation. But let's just be honest. California Lulz is making some big plays. Guess 8 right in the big play department as well. He's going to be managing that one, and Chuper's just going to... Oh. Okay, Flushy 8's dropping the hammer. He's just making sure that Chuper knows who's the big guy in town. Taking him out there with the explosive cast, giving the 14th kill of the game. 7 times the number of kills that the Super Team NA have been able to put on the board.
Man, I want to see some counters come out from Super Team NA, but they're so far behind, and some of the item builds aren't really that weak. For example, yesterday we saw a Shyvana build Magic Resist, but early team fights happen, and that Magic Resist did not do a lot versus that physical AD carry. Echo is cut out by the stun, trying to walk out of there.
Gonna get engaged on. There's the Ardent Blaze as well as the Ignite. A misguided culling will eventually find its mark. It's Maple Street picks up his 2nd kill of the game, and now with Executioner Ken alive, unable to save his carry there. Just the engagement's too strong from Dodo 8.
Man, that Zenith blade. I heard the Zenith blade sound for a second. Like, what's he going on? What's he initiating on? Oh, he's clearing minions. But they could try and send Caitlyn top lane right now to deal with Malphite, which could work because Malphite's not very tanky versus physical attacks, but he has so much AP from that Athenes and from that, I believe, Haunting guys he's building next, that he will still burst down Caitlyn before she can respond. So it doesn't even matter. They have someone that can theoretically counter a Malphite, but the Malphite does so much damage, he'll just die in response. And that's kind of the case for everybody except maybe Sicko Scott, who will still die to sustain harass from the Seismic Shard and Malphite spam ability with the Athenes and Holy Grail. Top turret does go down, but there's no one to deal with Malphite up top, and they have to send at least 2 people, or they risk Arthlon dying again. And they can't even win bot lane as well right now. They need their jungler to be 4 different places at once. They need all their lanes to be backed up. If Team 8 keeps on just split pushing and playing a lane game with occasional Pantheon roams, they'll be able to just kind of snowball that to a turret, snowball that to more dragons, possibly Baron, and possibly the game.
Man, this game started out with a really cool wombo combo up in the top lane and just did not let up. Guess 8 and California Lulz have been all over this map, truly utilizing this global pressure. Top lane's where it's going next. Arthlon try to get away here from the Guess 8 train, but will repel over to a minion. can't get away in time. Does flash that, but the Seismic Shard will slow him down somewhat inevitably. Lands a Cocoon there onto, guess, 8. Another Seismic Shard to come down. This is the slowest chase of the century as the nice bubble comes in there from Lulu, but is this going to be enough? We've already got that Assault and Battery right onto California Lulz. He's going to get some follow-up there from Arthalon, but has to be careful as Yes, 8 turns way too much damage around. There's the explosive cast trying to get away. Nice little bunny Gragas in there. Executioner Ken will finally go down. Giant grows himself just to try to pick up the kill on the California Lulz. Can't do it. Goes down, and that's a 1-2 for 0. Exchange. Arthalon did survive there, so somewhat of a moral victory.
I mean, the chase went on for too long for both sides. Could have been dangerous once Fi showed up, but she could not lock down anybody quickly enough. Pantheon a bit too fast. Malphite a bit too tanky, of course. And once the rest of teammates showed up, well, they showed why they were ahead by 13, now 15 kills, and why they're ahead by now 9,000 gold.
Okay, Echo can't fight this. The culling to come out doesn't hit too much onto Echo. He does still have to play this relatively carefully, but look at that ace in the hole, catching out from Maple Street. We'll be able to heal that up with a Bloodthirster, but still takes a little bit too much damage to be comfortable.
A decent trade overall. Caitlyn can still survive versus Lucian. If you can get pilled over Peacemakers that are not hitting minions, and is going for the straight champion damage, it is still incredibly high burst, so Maple Street is not necessarily going to win that lane on his own. The problem really is that, alright, let's say Caitlyn and Lucian are equally farming. Caitlyn's not really helping her team in the meantime as she's getting pushed in, as that map control grows for teammate. Push on a mid lane now, expect a lot of Gragas Pearls to come out looking for that poke. They could go for the hard initiate underneath the turret, especially because they don't have a lot of range DPS. It's only going to be Lucian that can attack turrets from a distance. His range is not fantastic, not Caitlyn range, so it's going to be a lot more passive pushing until they go for either a big ol' initiation like this on a Trooper.
Oh my gosh, Trooper will flash away there. Is that enough? No, it's a solar flare into the explosive cast. No, they're not fans of Trooper right now. Just blowing absolutely everything to take him down, and ults are down, which could be a little bit of a good sign, but Executioner can't force the flash over the wall, or I am Echo rather, force the flash over the wall there. That's one way to escape, but man, when teammate wants you to die, there's not a whole lot you can do about it.
At this point, they need a lot more ward coverage on Super Team NA. It doesn't matter if they have, let's say, the river bush warded, if they don't know where Malphite is, because Malphite can so easily set up a fight. It's Malphite in general, but when he's building AP, he does a lot more damage on his own. So he has a lot more to contribute a lot faster than he would normally would. Then factor in that there's also a Gragas, a Pantheon, that is so much ranged, long-distance initiation and damage that you need to have wards all over the map. Arthalon going to go ahead, meet a friend here. California Trolls, can he get the slam down? No, just interrupted by being there. Arthalon, can he escape?
Yeah, you can't run away from Seismic Shards. That's going to be rough to work with. Grand Slam does land. Arthalon trying to get away. There's one Seismic Shard. California Trolls just kind of laughing away straight to the bank with that one. Takes it down. That's why they call him Malphite, because he wants to deal damage.
Oh yeah, he's got the fight in him. That fight much stronger than anything Arthalon can do right now. He now has Spectre's Cal, so he actually does have some defense and magic resist to survive this, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Malphite already has the Haunting Guys, kind of negating all of the magic resist that has been picked up by Arthalon. He has got the Sork Shoes as well. Really, the question isn't so much how can Super Team NA bring this back, is what does teammate have to do mistake-wise to give Super Team NA a chance to actually come back into this game. And they can make those mistakes. They can go for an aggressive dive. It's going to come down to really good flashes from Super Team, because they have to flash dodge a Malphite ultimate and then punish him as hard as possible. Until they get that really good dodge, until they get that really good bait, they just do not have any presence anywhere on the map. They have 2 kills. They have 2 kills to the 19 on Team 8.
And as badly as Arthalon's lane has been going, he does have half of his team's kills. Now maybe looking to give one more over. Slushy's coming his way, and will Arthalon look for the repel?
If he gets it, I mean, he will survive for another second or so.
Yeah, he's going to bait out that explosive cast. Slushy goes unstoppable. Maple Street finally will get taken out. A nice gank in there. Sicko Scott got the giant growth. Maybe not quite what he's looking for, but a point-blank man drop right onto Baron. I call that the Baron drop in there. As Maple Street's death means that, I don't know, it's you'd think that would be a weakness for the team. Team 8, you got all the 8s there in that Baron pit, taken down so quickly. California Trolls going to try to keep those spears out of there, maybe just body blocking them as Baron.
Oh, no, they actually had Baron take that spear. They all dodged, so that extra damage would go towards Baron. That was really solid. But Chuper, can he steal it?
Dodo is going to go in there and try to stop Chuper. The rest of Team 8 will take down the first Baron of the game at 24.5 minutes.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
I guess the one positive thing about the past minute or so is that Super Team NA have increased their kills by 50%.
They do have that third kill on the board and their first turret of the game, so
That's something.
somewhat of a Pyrrhic victory in there. Is now Chuper trying to put this team on his back and make them the Chuper team. NA continues that push up mid lane, still trying to take a turret of his own.
Now, Maple Street is dying. He doesn't really have the biggest build at this point. Has a lot of damage, has a lot of burst, but is not at that point of an AD carry where he has massive crit, massive attack speed, no infinity edge. So he can't actually duel necessarily quite as well as you normally expect a late game team to have. And honestly, at this point, California Trolls is at the late game with his build. So the one weakness is going to be from Maple Street, just because he's been farming in the bot lane, as he should, really, and hasn't been picking up massive amounts of kills. But really, when the weakness is that their AD carry isn't super duper farmed, just only pretty farmed compared to the very well fed Malphite, it doesn't really mean a whole lot. They can try and go for Maple Street. They want him to be the last guy alive in team fights, essentially, just because his burst is a lot less meaningful, especially because he is more of a caster than a standard AD carry. His burst is a lot less meaningful than it would normally be, and they just have to try and burst down the important targets like Malphite, like Gragas. Like, even Pantheon, his damage is insane right now.
You know, there are a lot of different ways to win this game. One option for Super Team NA is to pick up one more kills, at which point they win because they have the best score in the world. Diving through the turret, the man drop right onto Echo. He's going a little bit too far ahead of schedule, but there's going to be a nice lock of the Iron Solari as well as Giant Growth trying to help out Sicko Scott, but it's not going to be enough to do any sort of counter engage. The engage from Guest 8 is a little bit overextended, and so will be enough to get his team that turret. The wombo combo right into the explosive cast takes down Arthelon again. Chuper able to jump his way on out of there. Those little hops and leaps and pounces, and now Echo towards the back does have Peacemakers, but that's about all he can do to make peace as the first inhibitor of the game goes down to Team 8.
You can see Echo trying to auto-attack as much as possible, barely damages Gragas, who lands one barrel, takes off a good third of his HP from that barrel. Oh, poor Super Team NA. They actually had them in such a good position, but such a good position when down 17 kills is not a very good position nonetheless. Super Team NA are moving out. They might try and make something happen. Spears are landing. I mean, I heard a low health warning. It was a lot of burst on the Pantheon, but not going to mean a whole lot. Sushi looking for the kill. Sushi looks like he might pick it up.
Okay, I was going to say, if there's any kills to be had, they're going to go down before I can even say anything. Sicko Scott, very low. Chuper low. Echo low as well. A perfect solar flare right on the Sicko Scott. Gets that little bubble from Execution. Ken stays alive, and now Guest 8. Very low. Misses that spear. Dodges the spear, rather. Will be able to keep himself alive. Chuper just trying to get as far out as possible. Can't find any spears to land. Nice cocoon. Will hit up onto California Trolls, but oh, Team 8. They're waiting there in the bush. California Laws is trying to bait this one.
They know his ultimate should be up by about now, and it just came up a second ago.
And the jig is up.
I mean, a lot of teams would have chased that down, tried to pick up anything, and it was a bait. It was a bait Super Team NA spotted well out. Still, here comes a man drop. Here comes a Pantheon.
You're going to see it behind enemy lines, but is this going to be enough to pick up one kill? Sicko Scott's going to go down Arthelon. Jason in there gets almost 4 shot there. The culling to come out to push him away. Excuse me, held my voice there for a second. Now Dodo tanking the turret. Team 8 plays one a little bit more carefully. Wait for another wave.
Team 8 just going to camp out here. They have the Baron regeneration to keep themselves alive. A lot of mana regeneration. Flash comes in from Malphite. Doesn't connect. Can they make something happen off this?
Echo's trying to get his way back to those Nexus turrets, but that's about the only thing trying to stop him. Yeah, recall. They're going back to base, maybe a little bit ahead of schedule. As now California Low is very low. Does make his way out of the team fight in time. Explosive cast going to knock Echo back into the fight. Executioner Ken goes down. There's a double kill from Maple Street, and double inhibitor is going to go down in favor of Team 8.
You have to give credit to Super Team NA. They almost killed California Trolls. He is 6'1", almost doubled his deaths. The problem really was he was able to just kind of walk on out of there towards the end. No ignite, no finisher. Unfortunate, but there are 3 members on Team 8 that do not have a death. Like, that is incredible. The fact that they're it's not that they're far ahead, it's that they're far ahead and not giving up anything. Not quite a total blowout, but pretty close to it. So, at this point, with 2 inhibitors down, the Baron buff already taken, it is teammates' time to just kind of walk through the top lane. As long as they don't all disconnect in the middle of a team fight underneath the enemy's inhibitor or Nexus turret, they should be able to take this game pretty cleanly.
And the way servers have been today, I'm not counting anything out.
It's like
but
5% chance. We'll give them that.
It looks good. And there's 25 kills now for Team 8. Super Team NA have yet to put their 4th kill on the board. And they weren't able to make my scoreboard dreams come true, and that is the ultimate defeat of this game. But for Arthalon, he's continuing to push down that bottom lane. Has an interesting build, let's put it that way. There's no Sunfire Capes or Spirit Visages. It's just those 3 items, but they're the 3 items that count, Studio.
They are. There's a reason Elises tend to go for a Haunting Guys build instead of just straight up Void Staff, just because you need that raw HP to survive. You will get more damage out of a Void Staff, but damage that you can't really get off because you'll die, not really worth it quite often. This was a pretty experimental build. If he hadn't fallen so far behind so fast, it might have worked out. He did have a lot of fight when he first picked up the Void Staff, but he was losing those fights by just enough HP for California Trolls to walk away unhindered. So the experiment with the build did not work out. It almost worked out, but you can see that unless you start winning those early fights, it's just not going to do a whole lot. Guess they're going to take this blue buff, has the man drop available. This will be the final push towards that Nexus inhibitor, or Nexus and inhibitor.
Oh, Spirit of Land, though, on a Maple Street. Dodges the Cocoon, though. Half HP. Should be able to heal up if he's able to hit some minions, but still going to stay with the rest of Team 8 as they look to push in that middle lane. Bottom inhibs down, pushing super minions onto the Nexus, and the top base turret down to half health thanks to California Lulz. Interesting to see if that's where they put additional pressure. Team 8 pushing in there, starting to get some of those auto attacks down. There's the Eclipse on a Donaway looking to engage, but haven't found anything quite yet. Guess 8 just throwing out some spears, breaking Banshee's veils right and left.
Sun does land on the Guess 8, getting a little bit of damage onto him, but he's just so tanky that mid inhibitor is being attacked the entire time as well. Should be going down in a second or two. We might see Team 8 rotate towards Baron just to go for the safe finish, because with that Baron regeneration, they'll definitely survive any sort of aggression. And if they can bait Super Team NA to try and defend that and try and go for a steal, they can easily pick up a kill. Initiation from Pantheon, though, is quite low.
Arthalon very, very low, very slow, and there's an explosive cast. Sicko Scott, the first catch with the Echo, soon to follow there. The culling to come out. Can't catch out on a Trooper, but finds its way onto Executioner Ken. They're both going to be back in base. Guess very low, but can he make his way over there to Arthalon? There's the repel. No kill. There's a stun. The Ignite's going to be enough to pick up the 4th kill of the game for Super Team NA. Slushy goes godlike with his 7th kill of the game, and now California Trolls and the rest of Team 8 will push in for the 2nd Nexus turret and most likely the win.
Nexus will be going down in a second or two. Can they pick up any last kill? Executioner Ken, will you go down? No, the chase was on, but the Lulu survives. Gets a laugh while ignited. And Team 8 with a resounding, just fantastic stomp that game.